and welcome to the 2025 Formula One World Championship, round 6, I believe, which I've probably put wrong in the chat as usual. And we were in Miami. Fantastic. Tubbs and Crockett, or is it Crocker? Don't know, can't remember, too long ago. Nonetheless, there we go. Hello, Lucky. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here.
Good evening. Now, I believe that despite this being a street track, the white lines on the track weren't the issue this weekend. It was some different white lines.
It was. In Miami, any white lines are good lines. That's what I've been told.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's demonetized.
Oh, yeah. Did we do that within 6 seconds? Probably.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it should be more than 6 seconds, but yeah.
Hey, no kids allowed. That's fine by me. Fabio.
But you're right. Welcome. It's the 6th race. And the reason I know is that I got something here that I'm not allowed to show, but it says...
You're showing it now. I can see it now. All right.
Yeah, but it's the 6th one. Yeah,
it is the 6th. It's the 6th.
Oh,
there it is again.
Wow.
That surprise that we will be handing out later. And hello, Sandy. Vroom to you too. Thank you so much.
Sandy.
Wheelchair. That's me in the wheelchair. Fabio in the car on the bike, and I guess Lucky on the scooter. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the prize that we'll be handing out later. Of course, everybody write a comment in any of the videos, and that will get you a ticket to the big draw prize. And then here at Fabio and Funk, we will be sending you, if you're a winner,
chicken dinner.
If you are, in fact, a PUBG player, well, no, maybe not if you're a PUBG player. You left me the car. Are you silly? No, we're not silly, Sandy. We just know where our bread is buttered. Yeah, so if you are a winner, we will be sending you that prize later. It will be signed. Hey, Kimo, thank you so much for being here.
Hey.
Good to see you, first-time viewer. Thank you. And hello, Dave, Captain Dave, thank you. Yeah, so as I say, we will be, if you write in the chat some comment, like any comment really, we will include you in the prize draw, and you may win a 3D calendar for Formula One from this year. That's the first thing to say. Welcome, Fabio. Fabio. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was telling, go ahead.
Are you sure you're okay? I've been worried about you.
No, listen, I mean, we're talking before the show. I mean, so I've decided to embrace destiny and life. So I'm really zen right now. And I just realized that I haven't been in this situation since the 90s, where we had some, people like, Patrese, the Cesaris, Fisichella, De Angelis, some Italian drivers you could root for. This year, I can at least root for one team and 3 cars, because we have a guy over there, which is blazing fast, and it's going to be faster. So yeah, I think
absolutely.
I'm taking whatever the fuck is coming my way. I'm trying to make good thing about it because the situation is dire.
Yeah, so I've only got one question for you when you say the situation is dire, and I don't want to make you feel any worse, but how does it feel to be beaten by a Williams?
Jesus fucking Christ, that was mental.
Oh dear,
was mental.
Anyway, look, we're going to get on with the race review because I guess we should do that first. All the teasing out the way. It was Miami. Good news for Miami, of course. They've now signed a contract till 2041.
Mm-hmm.
So how many extra years is that? It's another 6 fucking years. I mean, another 6 pleasant years of going to Miami and trying to do as much drugs as possible. Because that's the only thing that will get you through these races. Anyway, we were at Miami. There was a sprint race. That was the only bright side for Ferrari. I believe a certain Sir Lewis Hamilton came third. which was a good result. I can't remember who won. Probably who won the sprint race, guys? Was it Verstappen or was it Piastri?
Norris won the sprint race.
So you said another 6 years. It's another 16 years.
Is it 16 years?
It's 2041.
2041. I mean, I don't know. I'll be dead a long time before then.
Yeah.
So
if you're lucky.
Fortunately, I have a limited number of Miami races to go because this circuit is just dogs. It's a dog's ass. And what makes it a dog's ass, of course, is that freaking chicane in the middle. Anyway, right, let's just get on with the race review.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the sprint race. It wasn't very interesting. Sprint races aren't very interesting. We're not going to cover them very much here. Go ahead, Fabio. Say something different.
No, I mean it was kind of interesting because of the rain which came all of a sudden. So there was some interesting, pit choices, and for a change, I mean, I was really excited for the race because apparently the pit box in Ferrari worked really well. I mean, Lewis managed to get third basically because he changed tires way ahead of the others. It was a very good call, very good interaction between Lewis and the pit and his engineer. So it was like, yeah, I mean, it's working now. And then Sunday happened. So swings and roundabouts.
We'll talk about that because I have some strong views on that as always. Okay, so as I say, go ahead, Lucky.
We better mention poor Kimi Antonelli's enforced drive-through pit stop because of Red Bull team. That was just ridiculous.
And, okay. So Max was
extremely well to miss.
Let me explain it first. So Max was released early from his pit stop, straight into the path of Antonelli, who was coming into the pits. Antonelli, with cat-like reactions, managed to avoid the contact severely. Max also managed to kind of lessen the damage potentially. Unfortunately, Antonelli had to drive through the pits and then go around and pit again, which put him way, way back and put him out of contention. So that was that. Max, of course, did he say sorry to Antonelli? No, he didn't. He just said it wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it, which is fair enough. He didn't, but he could have said something to Antonelli, I think.
I think he did.
I don't think he did. I didn't hear anything about him saying, "Yeah, I feel sorry for Antonelli's race there." But anyway, there you go. That's what you expect. There wasn't too much forgiveness. Of course, well, let's get on because there's lots to give. So 5 lights out. Verstappen in pole position. Norris in second. Russell third. And Piastri fourth. Into this first corner. Max out braking himself, complaining all day about his brakes and his car in general. Norris going around the outside, got pushed wide. Just goes to show what Fabio's been saying about Norris all along is perfectly true. He's just not championship material at this point.
No.
That left, I think it was Antonelli in second place at this point? I think it was actually. Antonelli in second place to try and chase Verstappen down, and boy did he give that a go. As I say, into the first corner, into the second corner, actually pushing Norris wide. Antonelli going around the outside. A great drive by him. Russell also getting up there full. Both Williams qualifying very well indeed and making the most of it. Unfortunately, this left the Ferraris really at the back, and they didn't really make much room or much progress forward throughout most of the race. There was contact between Norris and Verstappen. Norris wasn't happy about it. He gave Verstappen the finger, of course. Also having a shocker of a race out in turn 2. And that'll probably be his last race for the season. So Verstappen, followed by Antonelli 1.3. Verstappen, as usual, pulling away quite convincingly with clear air on his front wing. Wasn't long, though, before Piastri got by. And also Norris started making moves up the field. So by lap 5 then, Piastri had got on the back, or at least within DRS, of Verstappen. More action down the field. Norris struggling to get by both Mercedes. And then advertising, of course, advertising. World at War, World of Tanks this week. It's World of Tanks. If you feel like you want to go around in a big piece of armor, steel, and blow everybody up, World of Tanks is for you. Also, Manscaped, of course. If you want to shave your bollocks, Manscaped is the product for you. Okay, back to the race now. Lap 9. Verstappen still out in front. Piastri struggling a little bit to get past. Norris coming through the field, of course, finally managing to dispose of the Mercedes. And it turns out, as we found out through the race, that the McLaren was in fact a huge advantage, and I mean huge advantage, over the rest of the field. It was just a matter of time. Max putting up a stern defence as always, forcing cars to the outside, and then just running them out of road, which in these new rules and regulations of overtaking is perfectly acceptable. However, Piastri not going to be taken, and eventually he managed to get a run out of the last turn, down to the pit, down the start-finish straight, and then taking the outside as always, but this time forcing Max a little bit inside, and that was enough to make Max outbrake himself, and then Piastri managed to get by. Good racecraft there from young Piastri. Max later complained that he complained on the radio straight away that his brakes were so shit, but of course he was just piling into a corner. He was always going to do that, nothing to do with his brakes. That car's just not performing as well as the McLarens. That's the long and short of it. Max just finding anything to complain about. The two Williams having a ding-dong battle with each other. Really a great performance by the Williams team. Both cars finishing in the points, despite the fact that Sainz had damage on his car. Then it was a matter of Norris trying to get past Verstappen. And, of course, same thing happens again. Norris goes to the outside and gets pushed off the road by Verstappen. He seems to come off worse, though, every single time. He doesn't back out as early as Piastri does when he's on the outside, and it should be obvious by now. Eventually, though, Norris got to the inside, and when he did, of course, he was then able to push Verstappen out. Unfortunately, Norris went off the track, so had to give the place back. Did so voluntarily and quickly, which was, of course, the right thing to do. And then obviously went on for another couple of laps until he eventually managed to get down the inside and overtake Verstappen. By this time, though, Piastri had got at least 9 or 10 seconds ahead. Of course, lots of complaining, but from Verstappen when he got pushed off track. He pushed me off track. Oh, woe is me. I find these always ironic when I hear Verstappen inside complaining about someone pushing him off track, because having watched him do that for 4 years now in a row. But nonetheless, Antonelli, or Behrman, unluckily, having engine problems. This is the first time the car has let him down. And in fact, the Ferrari engine seemed to have some bullet holes in this particular race. I don't know if that's going to be a sign for later in the race, but there you go. So anyway, VSC was there, and that allowed Verstappen to get ahead of Leclerc as he pitted. Very unfortunate again, really. And I think after all, there wasn't an awful lot left in the race, really. It was the 1-2 of Piastri, Norris out front, Russell in third place, Verstappen in fourth place, Antonelli in fifth place, to be overtaken by Albon as he came out of the pits. So I think that VSC was really a crucial point for teams lower down. That 33 Bortoletto out of the race as well. Unfortunate for him. And then on to the Ferrari woes. Ferrari woes were Lewis Hamilton had started on hard tyres. He came in for his pit stop at the VSC and took on the medium tyres, whereas Leclerc had taken on medium tyres to start with and took on the hard tyres. Lewis cruised up behind Leclerc while he was fighting with one of the Williams, and basically asked to be let go or let past so he could use his yellow tyres to try and catch up with Antonelli. And it took 3 laps for them to decide, and the 4th lap to overtake. By which time, potentially, Lewis's front tyres were cooked, and he lost all of the pace out of those tyres. He was catching Antonelli still, but just not nearly the rate that he needed to. And eventually they decided to switch them back again, which then took another couple of laps and lost Lewis another second. And of course, Leclerc wasn't able to catch up with either Antonelli or Sainz in that particular moment. Although they were able to catch up with Sainz, because Sainz had damage, of course, so they overtook him. But they weren't able to catch with Antonelli. Hamilton likewise managed to overtake Sainz, but couldn't do anything about it. In fact, in the very last corner of the very last lap, Sainz made a desperate dive down the inside and could have taken both him and Lewis out. He didn't. And later on, stewards looked at it, no penalties given. And then the finishing order then, of course, was get to the finishing order. Piastri winning the race. Great race by him. Norris, of course, faster than Piastri at the end. Norris was generally faster than Piastri throughout most of the race and really should be kicking himself. He threw that race away by having this altercation with Verstappen in the first corner. Russell 33 seconds behind Piastri. Verstappen 2.5 seconds behind that. They wanted him to. Red Bull complained about a potential regulations problem with Russell in that he didn't lift going through a yellow flag, which is quite ironic because as they went through it, the first thing Verstappen said was, "Oh, tell the stewards that Russell didn't lift," and then on the same time, Russell was on the radio going, "Tell Verstappen that I did lift." So I thought that was hilarious. And then Albon in 5th place, Antonelli in 6th place, 7th for Leclerc, 8th for Hamilton, 9th for Sainz, and Tsunoda 10th place, who just finished just ahead of the 5-second penalty that he got of Hadjar, who was very unlucky. And that was the race as I saw it today. I'm going to throw it straight over to Fabio, who's been copiously counting on his fingers, waiting for the moment to now speak.
No, because I think they were fighting 6 and 7, the Ferrari. So it was Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Antonelli, Albon, and Leclerc, Hamilton.
No, from position 1, it was Piastri, Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Albon, Antonelli, Leclerc. Hamilton.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, that makes even sadder. They were fighting for 7 and 8. So yeah. The race. The race was fun. I think. I had
hello, Brian. By the way, hello, Brian. Hello, Robin. Good to see you both.
I had. It was fun for the first 15 laps, and thank God for Verstappen, because that made the race interesting in the first laps. And after that, the only interesting things happening were the kerfuffle between the Ferraris, Sainz, making things, and Alonso just, speeding and crashing. So that basically was, and the Haas breaking the engine, which is quite unusual. So yeah, that was kind of boring. It's a really, tricky track. It's not Monte Carlo as far as, difficulty in overtaking. There are a couple of places, but still it's a city circuit basically. So yeah, there is that. No, it was fun at the beginning when the McLaren complained about Verstappen, and I thought, okay, hold on a second, that's Saudi Arabia with inverted parts. So if they didn't want the penalty when it was the McLaren in the same spot as Verstappen was, but now they want the penalty because Verstappen did the very same thing that they did in Saudi Arabia. So I said, wow, it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, whatever they decided. And luckily they didn't, they decided nothing. So, which I think it was the good thing to do. So yeah, was funny, but that was the only thing.
Can I just say something on that first of all?
Yeah.
Which is they have changed the rules recently, and again they've updated them for this Grand Prix for overtaking. And one of the rules which they've said is you're not allowed to run someone out of road if, on two occasions, unless you have the corner. And when they say you have the corner, you have to be in control of the car from apex to exit. Right? That's what it says. That's what it says now.
Not
and
really.
Obviously, and Verstappen didn't have that. Go ahead.
That doesn't mean
the racing line. He had the racing line.
I know he had the racing line, but there's a new. Listen to what I just said again. Let me say it again because Fabio was interrupting. What the new rules are is if you have the corner, you have the racing line, and you're entitled to run someone out of road, unless you do not have control of your car.
Control means that you can make the corner in between the lines, which is exactly what Verstappen did.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Well, it says you have to be in control of your car from
apex the control of your car means that you can make the corner and stay in between the white lines, which is what Verstappen did.
Not by hitting another car.
No. It doesn't matter. If you're ahead at the apex, you can do whatever the fuck you want, provided that you can actually make the corner. And making the corner means, using the track. So if you're ahead and you use the track, you're in between the lines. If you have somebody here, it's problem. It's not my problem. I just make my corner. I just use all the track that I want. And if you can't use the track because you're behind me, I mean, it's fuck you, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what being in control of the car means then.
Can I say, after the incident, Norris got on the radio and said, I was alongside him and he pushed me off. That's exactly what Verstappen wanted. And it's exactly the same thing he's done to Norris 100 times in the past. He got him in exactly the right position he wanted and he put him off the track. And he didn't do anything illegal. He had the racing line. This is Norris's fault for not realizing that this is what's going to happen. The same times it happened the last race and the race before and the race before and the race before. He just doesn't seem to be getting this. It's going to happen.
And there is one more thing I want to add to what Lucky said. I'm starting to have maximum respect for Max Verstappen because whatever the rules are, he masters the rules like nobody. They changed the rule, because of the maneuver he did. He said, okay, I'm going to drive in a different way. And now he does. And so they can't tell him anything because they changed the rule because he was doing things. He's not doing that anymore. He's doing a different thing, which is in between the rules. So he's fucking brilliant at that. So there is no doubt.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing what you're saying, guys. The result is the result, and that's all. I'm saying there is a phrase in the new rules, right, which is you have to be in control of your car from apex to exit, right? Now, I don't know about you, but losing the rear end to me doesn't sound like you're in control of the car. If you have to steer into your opponent, right, that doesn't sound like you're in control of the car. That's all I'm saying. Now, they interpreted it. Hang on, before you jump on me, let me put the fucking caveat in, all right? Which is to say this, the stewards looked at it, that's what they decided, there was no penalty, right? Obviously, turn one, etc., etc. But I'm just saying that these rules are on the fly here, right? So I'm not sure what they mean by being in control.
Listen, I'm just going to say that if losing the rear means you're not in control, that means that any overtake that any Ferrari does, or Tsunoda, or Stroll, or a plethora of other drivers, it's not valid because they all lose the rear. after they overtake somebody in the corner. There is no way around it. So
well, like
I don't think that losing the rear automatically means you're not in control. That's what I'm saying.
Like I say, if you have to opposite steer, right? If you have to literally steer into the slide, which you do if you're out of control, that means to me that and then you do that causes you to drive into your opponent. Well, that sounds to me like you didn't mean to do that, right?
No, but listen, if
that's it.
No, but listen, okay, hold on, because I'm really it's messing with my brain here. But so if you lose the rear and you got opposite lock, okay, that means you are absolutely in control of the slide. It's if you lose it and you go in the wall that you haven't got control. I mean, what the hell are we talking about? If you lose the
that's
rear,
exactly what I'm saying. If you lock, if you lose it an opposite lock and you hit the wall, you're out of control.
Yeah, and if you don't,
and you're saying if you lose it and you opposite lock and you hit your opponent, you're in control.
No, you're actually in control because the opponent is
okay.
Listen, the opponent is nowhere to be. It shouldn't be there. Okay, I can use all the track I want, provided that I'm between the white lines.
Right.
So.
Okay.
I mean, if the opponent, if
that was the case, Fabio, if that was the case,
no.
Hang on, let me say this. If that was the case, they shouldn't even have that sentence. If that was the case, they should not have that sentence even in the rules. All they should say is, provided you stay on the track, then that's okay. Which is not what the rules say.
It's no. Listen, the reason is there. You're interpreted it wrong. What it means? It means that you got to be in control. You got to make the corner. You got to be able to make the corner, and Verstappen made the corner. So let me say one more thing. If you are losing the rear and you're opposite lock, and there is somebody on your side and you hit him, you're not in control. But if the guy wasn't there, I would have been in control. So the fact that so what you mean is that if I am in control or not, it doesn't depend from me being in control. It depends on where the fuck is over there. So I got to be in control of my car and his car. It doesn't make any sense.
No, okay. So what I'm saying is, right, that there was no need to put that sentence in the rules. Is there? The reason it's in the rules is because people are dive bombing in, Verstappen especially, is dive bombing in, going in too fast, and then pushing the opponent off the track in order to gain the corner by being at the apex first. Exactly. Now that's why that little phrase. That's why that phrase is in there, right? It's to stop people doing that. Stop Verstappen doing that. And that's exactly what he did in that corner. That's all I'm saying. And I feel, okay, I may be wrong. You can explain it in a minute.
No, you are wrong.
Because... Right? I may be wrong, and you can explain it in a minute. But what I'm saying is, look, that's the reason that particular phrase has been put in there, to stop people dive bombing into corners to get the corner at the apex. And that's why it says from apex to exit. And if it didn't say that, that's fine. If they just wanted someone to say, it doesn't matter how fast you go in, if you get the apex, you have the right to run someone out wide, right? Then that would be fair enough. You didn't need to put anything about being in control, but it does say that. So there must be a reason it's there.
Okay.
And none of you guys are giving me an explanation of why it's there.
Well, I mean, you don't listen, but go ahead, Lucky.
Let's try this, okay? Imagine the same scenario, but instead of going alongside, Lando Norris had fallen in back behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen still at the same speed, got that opposite lock. He then went into the next corner. He also went opposite lock in that corner into the right-hander. Was he out of control on either of those two occasions? No, he got some oversteer on both corners. He wasn't out of control at any point in time. The only problem that happened was Norris's own making, and is that he stayed alongside Max Verstappen, who was on the racing line. the racing line that he's entitled to take.
There is also another point. The dive bombing thing, it hasn't been changed by the phrase being in control. The dive bombing change it's a different wording. Now the car has to be at the same height of your rear mirror, and before it has to be ahead at the apex. So that change, the rear mirror change, that avoids the dive bombing. And of course, they got to make the thing in control, because now it would have been open another kind of worms. Because if you are at the same height of the rear mirror, and you make you got the advantage, but you're not in control in making the corner. I mean, that would have been, say, yeah, I mean, I can do that, and then I lose control, and the other guy, can fuck off, because he's in the wrong every fucking time. So the control is because of the change they made of the dive bombing, which is not being in control.
Yeah.
Okay. I read it differently, of course, and we'll agree to disagree. That's no problem. The stewards agree with you guys, just to point that out. So Noah, got a quick question from Brian here. If someone pulls off the infinite pit maneuver used by the police to stop suspects, are they in control or not?
Yeah.
The person doing the pit maneuver would be in control. Now, that's a good idea, actually. How about each driver having the ability to pit maneuver one driver during the race? That would be brilliant.
There you go.
They actually did it.
Brian says that cigarette looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
I mean, sorry, the pit maneuver, they actually tried that in the driver's parade with the Lego cars.
I was going to use that as one of the things, as the thumbnail, but I didn't. Okay. Okay, so moving on, Fabio. Ferrari woes.
Yeah, Ferrari woes. I got... Hold on a second. I got to present.
I'm holding on. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, no, I got to present.
I can see we're going to disagree on virtually everything in this particular episode.
No. I mean, so
yes, we are.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, what the fuck do you want me to say? I mean, again, I was really excited, by what happened in the sprint race. And then whatever the fuck happened in the sprint race did not happen during the race. Actually, the opposite did. So, yeah. I think it's so, in all seriousness, okay? Yeah, that was quite it was quite hard to watch for a lot of reasons. The first one is that, again, they were basically fighting for the 7th place, which is kind of sad, right? The other thing is that I understand the frustration of both the drivers, and I think, and while I was listening to the radios, some of them you can see on the screen, blah blah blah, I was thinking, okay, I mean, this is gonna be huge because it's Ferrari. Let's be totally fair, because things like that, drivers, having an argument with their race engineer or the pit, has always happened, and now it's Hamilton and Leclerc fighting for 7th, for fuck's sake. It's gonna be that's gonna be more than the Pope dying, okay, which is exactly what happened. So there was that. The other thing, again, I think that there is a lot of frustration in Ferrari right now. They've been saying, "Oh, we got to find the potential of the car." I'm not really sure there is any potential left in the car. They qualified. They made the best time with used tires. That is mental. Okay, because usually from a used tire to a new tire, there is like a second and a half, and they made the best time with used tires. That means there are some serious problems with that car, and I'm not really sure they can find the potential, as they say. I'm not so sure that the that the upgrades that are going to bring are going to be a nothing burger. Yeah. So yeah, I think the situation is quite problematic. I think that unless there is one glimpse in all of this, which I mean, I'm not saying that Ferrari will be back at the front, because now it's basically the fourth team. But the only glimpse of hope is the new technical directive, which should be in effect in Barcelona, affecting the wings, the flex of the wings. That might change something in the equilibrium of the cars, specifically on paper, unless they already found out something, because that's not something the teams already know, unless McLaren already have a solution with that. But that on paper should affect McLaren more than the other teams. So that might bring the other teams a little bit ahead. So they're basically shuffling the car. It's a big change. Okay, it doesn't have to be underestimated. In the paddock, there is a lot of talks about that. I think that might be a little bit exaggerated, but that is the only glimpse of hope that I see in a reshuffling of the forces in the teams, and hopefully for Ferrari to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. Brian just puts out of interest, our Jaguar is still racing. They're not racing as a team these days, of course, but I believe Red Bull bought Jaguar, did they not?
Yes.
Jaguar is racing in the Formula E championship.
Yeah, they are, but they're not racing in Formula One, as the question asked.
No.
And the team was bought by Red Bull, which of course have been world champions 4 times in a row. So there you go. And then, are they racing anything these days? Yep, as Fabio says, they are racing. They've recently started in Formula E, and I believe they're also planning a comeback in WEC as well, aren't they? So, but that's there. Thanks for the info. No problem. Lucky, over to you. How did you find the race? Anything you want to comment on what we've said so far, and etc.?
Well, okay. What do we want to start off with? Okay, I think Mike Crack had something to say this week. Mike Crack has something to say. What have you got to say, Mike?
You mean Mike Crack says what?
Mike Crack says, Lance Stroll, what a twat. Now, we'll come back to Lance Stroll in a minute. However, we're going to start, of course, with my man, and that is Isaac Hadjar. He's the second man in Red Bull at the moment, I would venture to say.
Isaac.
Isaac.
Thank you.
Isaac. Okay, Isaac. Whatever his name is, he started 9th in the sprint race and finished 10th.
It's your man. You can't say whatever his name is. It's your man.
People might think I know what I'm talking about. So, in sprint race, like I said, 9th in the starting grid, finished 10th. In comparison to his teammate Lawson, who was 14th and 13th. And, of course, he beat Tsunoda, who was full of woes during qualifying. However, in the race, he started 11th to finish 11th, right behind the proper Red Bull team. Proper Red Bull team. Tsunoda, 2 cents a second, I think there was at the end. So,
1/10,
another good week, consistent. Hadjar, he's got his head down, and he's quietly just plodding along there, doing really well. Unlucky.
Before you go on, let me just interrupt you. Say, do you think there was any maybe Red Bull calls to the Racing Bulls to say, make sure your man doesn't finish 5 seconds ahead because we want the point?
Well, that could indeed be the case. However,
conspiracy. I'm just talking about conspiracies. That's all.
Well, you never know. You never know, really, do you? But I would say that it would be really unfair.
Lucky, please don't bite, because now he's going to talk about tires. So don't bite. Okay.
God damn you, Fabio! Don't give the game away.
Well, it's not a game. I mean, you've been doing that for 10 years.
All I'm saying is aliens, right? UFOs and aliens, that's mysterious. Tires, they're mysterious. What have they got in common? No, there we go. I'll leave you to make the connection.
Okay, so where we go? Okay, who's going to be our driver of the day? I'm going with either Piastri for smoking them all, and Max Verstappen for doing so well in a car that obviously wasn't that quick and substantially slower than the McLarens. He got that thing on pole for the main race. So, what do you reckon, Piastri or Max? Max.
I'm really torn because if you're talking about overall performance, I would say Piastri, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
If we go for the way of driving over the car, I would say Verstappen. But I think that Albon too, deserves a mention. So
yeah.
Albon had an amazing drive, absolutely amazing. I'd also like. I know this is not popular, but then whenever do I say things that are popular? Norris was very fast again. Once he is an incredibly fast driver, one of the fastest drivers on that track, for sure. And he outpaced Piastri. He outpaced Piastri in terms of lap times and sectors. All the sectors went to Norris. All the lap time went to Norris. And it just goes to show the guy is an incredibly talented driver. Problem is, he's not an incredibly talented race driver, as Fabio keeps pointing out. So there you go.
Okay, well,
just to say that,
Yeah. So now, although second, Lucky, sorry, because I just had a thought, so having said those three names, I would go for Antonelli because fuck you guys. I mean, that guy is again, he's 18 years old and 8 months. Right?
Well,
and he made a pole. He's the youngest driver ever making a pole.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, there was a sprint race.
Regardless, a pole is a pole is a pole. So
he's 18 years old, Simos. I mean, he's doing pretty well for his rookie Formula One season. I think he's going to be a star of the future.
And also think about all the money that I know he doesn't go in the budget cap, but still think about all the money that Mercedes has saved. So basically running Russell, which is a good contract, and then they got Antonelli, which I'm not saying they're paying peanuts, but I don't think that he's been paid the same salary as, maybe he's paid less than Sainz in Williams. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, he showed a bit of his inexperience this weekend. He could have played things a bit different. He was unlucky with Verstappen hitting him in the sprint race. He's a fast guy.
I mean, let's be totally real. The sprint race, he basically made a right through, which hasn't been in F1 rules forever, and he had to make the right through. And in the race, was really, really unlucky with the virtual safety car. He basically lost all his position because of that. So, I mean,
yeah. So I'll say this about him, if I may, which is last year in Formula 2, it took him like a lot of the season to get up to speed. He started quick. Within 6 races again, he was up to speed. Then he struggled for the rest of the season in Formula 2. They decided to put him in, presumably because they'd already made the decision early doors. It's a massive improvement from being a rookie in Formula 2. And he's done the same thing in Formula 1. And he started out a little slow, certainly behind. And he's improved at metronomic paces. He's gone from being an also ran to a proper runner, to a contender, to now a pole sitter. That is a huge improvement in Formula One. Most rookies don't get anywhere close to that in their first 6 races. So that alone is incredibly astonishing. One thing it has shown me, though, is that the pace in Formula One is much higher than any other formula. And although he's making those improvements, that'll probably be because, A, the cars are easier to handle because they have power steering, number one. And number two, I think it was showed in this race that his endurance is still lacking compared to the other Formula One drivers. Not surprising at all, considering it's his first race. Not surprising at all, considering he's only 18. So, I mean, the improvement that he can still make in this season by getting stronger and stronger will only go to be of huge benefit next year, which is when I expect him to really show his character. Races like this one, where it's a sprint weekend at Miami, which is a tough track to race, is still, he was flagging towards the end, I think you could tell, and his endurance was lacking. If we're at Singapore this year, which I don't know whether we are or not, Fabio will tell me by looking at the piece of plastic. Thank you. Just, it's an opportunity. Just make sure you don't show it on camera. Oh, he's showing it on camera.
Oh, shit.
Oh. Anyway, if we're at Singapore, I think he's really going to struggle. But nonetheless, by next year, he'll be up to full strength, just the way Max was. It took Max 2 years to get up to speed in Formula One, if not 3 years. Antonelli's done it in 6 races. So just that shows the talent, the raw talent of the guy. And all he needs to do now is just put on that muscle mass, and I'm sure he is going to be a Formula One world champion in the future. Just to piss Russell off, I guess. Lucky, anything you wanted to add on Antonelli?
I think we've bigged up Antonelli enough for one evening.
Yeah, and again, if Mercedes have the engine that they're rumored to have for 2026, then he's in prime position to be a world champion at the young age of 19.
One more thing about Antonelli, and then if we can go on, is having it looks like that he's having a lot of fun driving. He's laughing, which is I think it's super important.
He's relaxed.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's having fun. It's massive. Anyway, if you guys agree,
can I go back to Norris just real quickly?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, go ahead, Lucky.
Okay, I'll be really quick. Norris, as you said, Simos, he has got an amazing amount of talent in that car. However, he just doesn't seem to be able to see past the nose of his car.
Can I stop you right there? Because I want to make a very quick segment of questions where you answer like in 30 seconds or maybe.
Can we just finish? Can we finish Lucky's thing first?
No, but you know what? No, I just want to say one of these questions is about that. So.
Oh, okay.
I'll move on from that. He just doesn't seem to be able to see past the nose of his car. The overtaking performance he had last week with Hamilton and this week with Verstappen, he just doesn't seem to be getting what's going on in the next part of the race. It's only the part he's in right at that moment he cannot see past. I mean, Piastri went past Verstappen in a clean one-off bye-bye move. No. And Norris just couldn't manage that. Anyway, moving on really quickly. The 2 Ferrari guys, poor Charles, aquaplaned off. That was a total bummer for him. He was really disappointed. You could hear it in his voice. Lewis, despite the radio messages, seemed very upbeat at the end of the race. Said he really enjoyed the race. Best race he's had it for Ferrari so far. A man on a mission this weekend, Carlos Sainz. He just wanted to get down the track, and he didn't care who was in front of him. That last corner, or second last corner incident where he nearly took out Hamilton and himself, he's pushing it. Ironically, he's putting under pressure the guy who replaced him at Ferrari. So what else have we got? Lance Stroll, what a twat. And we'll move on.
Thank you so much. Mike Crack said something similar as well, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay, he did. Okay, over to you, Fabio, for a new section which we're calling Fabio's Fuck Ups.
I thought it was Bunga Bunga.
Actually,
it's not. Okay. It's not. Well, that's not what we're calling it. I thought it was something else. I was thinking of something else, Fabio. Sorry.
No, I mean, okay, you can call that, but actually the segment is I'm going to make you some questions, so you're going to reply. So,
okay,
if everything is Simon's and Lucky fuck ups, because I'm just asking you the questions and you can make the fuck ups. So,
we're going to rename it Funk's Fuck Ups. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fabio.
So, 7 questions, rapid fire. You guys have 30 seconds to reply.
Rapid, Lucky. Rapid.
So, first question. Ferrari versus Williams.
Who's answering first? Who's answering first?
Doesn't matter. Just go ahead.
Let's go. I would call whoever answers first. So yeah.
Okay.
So Ferrari versus Williams. Who would you have imagined, Simons?
I don't know. I see what we're judging it on. Sorry, Ferrari. I mean Williams. I'm a Williams man. Yeah.
I mean Ferrari versus Williams and the outcome of the race. Would you have imagined?
Oh no. I see. In the outcome of the race. No, I would never have imagined Williams to be ahead of Ferrari.
Yeah. Lucky?
Well, again, Albon put in a spectacular performance. And as I said earlier, Carlos Sainz was wanting to get down the road as quick as possible. And he nearly did it. So he could have split the Ferraris. And that would have been kind of embarrassing.
Okay, rules about overtakes. Do you like them? Like Lucky?
This is a problem, okay? Because Max,
yes, I think it's a yes or no. Surely, if there is a yes or no, this is it.
Well, sorry, Lucky. Yes or no. It would have to be 30 seconds or less. Okay, listen. Max Verstappen is on a different level in racecraft strategy. He's on a different level. And the reason is because he goes sim racing every night and he deals with these situations maybe 4 or 5 times a night. And he puts himself into situations where he can do the things that he does on the Formula One track. And until these boys catch up to him, he's going to keep doing it.
Okay, Simons, can you answer the questions? Rules about overtakes. Do you like them?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I think they're improving. They're improving it. They're at least trying to keep Verstappen under control because he's been out of control for like 5-6 years now. This has been going on, and I'm tired of people getting run off the track and complaining about it afterwards and saying that's the end of my race. So I'm glad they're at least trying to do something about it.
Okay, so Piastri versus Max, Norris versus Max. Was Piastri better / more skilled? Simons?
Yeah, undoubtedly. I think Norris was unlucky in that he had to deal with Max second. That's always puts you at a disadvantage. But even so, considering Piastri was much more measured, he never really put himself in danger on the outside like Norris did.
Lucky?
I'm going to just agree with everything he just said there. That's all I can do.
Okay. So, Ferrari, is it worth waiting for the updates? Or maybe it's better to just shut down the car and think about the next season? Lucky.
Updates. I think it would be a shame to leave 2 motivated drivers like Hamilton and Leclerc sitting in the middle of the field, not expecting to be doing anything.
Okay, I don't think it's as bad as people are making out here. I think the updates come, Ferrari will improve. I do think also their car was set up or designed this season for slower tracks or at least low speed corners. And I think when we get to tracks that are more suited to their car with the updates, things will be better. I would also say I'm very pleased about this race in Miami because it shows how well Leclerc and Hamilton are trying to get on top of the car and work together. And I'm really pleased about that because it does mean that at least for once, the Ferrari have a united front moving forward, and then progress can be made with the car very quickly, given the updates come soon enough. I'm disappointed by Vasseur, who actually said some things which really disappointed me. Like, no, there was no problem with the process by which we made our decisions. No, clearly there was. Hamilton burnt his tyres up behind Leclerc, and that is unforgivable.
One last thing.
Okay.
It's Imola next week. It's Ferrari in home ground. Never discount Ferrari in home ground.
So championship right now says Piastri, Norris, and Max is 32 points from Piastri. Is the duel for championship Piastri and Norris, or is Max able to get into the fight?
Lucky, you go first.
Never discount Max Verstappen. He's shown that if the car goes to the end of the race, he'll be pushing it as hard as he can the whole way.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much over for Max. I don't think he's going to get the upgrades he needs. However, you can never discount someone just because they're 32 points behind. Remember, Hamilton has come back from bigger. Hamilton's come back from a 50-odd point deficit to win the championship over his teammate, which says something. Yeah.
Okay, so remind you of the very short answers, especially with this one. Is there a Lewis problem, Simos?
No, there's no Lewis problem. I would commend him particularly for dealing with Vasseur the way he did. I think that's amazing, and hopefully Vasseur is going to take it on the chin. If the guy's a complete narcissist, and I understand why Vasseur did it, right? All the Ferrari top brass were in Miami, right? They must, and like we know what Ferrari are like with politics, and I think the answers that Hamilton gave were set to diffuse politics. So I'm very pleased with that. If they want to sack Hamilton, fair enough. Okay. If they want to buy him out of his contract, fair enough. I don't think Hamilton would be complaining. But I think the fact that Leclerc and Hamilton get on so well really mean that Ferrari have got a bright future in coming back against the other three teams which they're up against.
Okay, Lucky. He almost saved all your time, so go ahead.
No, I don't think there's a problem with Lewis. I think Ferrari need to take the tea breaks at the correct moment during the race in future.
Just a quick comment from me. You remember what we guys said last time, that, I really hope that Lewis, stands up. If the reason they took him is because of the experience, he should, jump on the table and start banging his fists on the table. I think he's doing like just that. So anyway, last question. Was the Williams thing in the race an episode, or are they growing up? Lucky.
I think the experience that science has brought to Williams is helping a lot. Again, I'll say he seemed to be a man on a mission, and the Ocon lad, I mean, what can you say this weekend? He was just, he seemed to be a different class than normal. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you. And obviously, as a Williams fan, I think this is a little more long term. It shows a sustained move forward up to fifth place as the fifth team, and that's a really great thing. Of course, one of the things Williams have been great at over the last few years is their fast pace, their top speeds, and the ability to get through the fast corners fast. And I think this just shows that their car is a continuation from previous years, which bodes well for the future. I think once we go to Imola, they'll be back down again, of course. But nonetheless, I was very happy to see them up there.
Yeah, I think Williams switching from an Excel spreadsheet to something more proper.
Williams have suffered from Logan Sargent syndrome. I think that's been their biggest problem over the past couple of years. Now they've lost Logan Sargent syndrome. Things will go a lot better.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, that's all.
Thank you very much.
If you guys like
and unfortunately that's an hour, so we did like it. Thank you. And so that's an hour. Unfortunately, Lucky. No, we're going to do Mythal Quiz. We always do Mythal Quiz, of course, because it's a favorite feature from our fans. So that's good. So over to you, Lucky. Is it a myth? Is it a quiz? Is it a myth or a quiz? Or a quiz or a myth or a myth or a quiz or a myth and a quiz? Middle quiz. Over to you.
Well, it's going to be a question, but I have a question first for Mr. Fabio there. So that is going to be the Cesaris.
Yes.
It is Cesaris, is it?
The one in the Alfa Romeo is the Cesaris, and I think the other one
Tracy, is it?
I don't know if it's. I think it's PK, but I'm not really sure. It might be Patrese. Yeah. The helmet is a little bit different. It's really hard. Yeah, no. It's definitely not PK. So might be Patrese.
Yeah, I think it's Patrese.
Brambilla.
So what?
Brambilla.
What?
No, he drove it. No, just ignore me. Okay, that was a really pretty Formula One car, that Alfa Romeo, by the way. And it was an Alfa Romeo, of course. It's an Alfa Romeo. Okay, today's question. It's the Formula One Smart Arse of the Day question. And today's question is going to be, which team were the first to win a Grand Prix in a car with active suspension?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
There's only two, but yeah.
That is a tricky one because
with active.
Yeah. No. Oh shit.
I think it's it depends what you mean by active, of course.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a really tricky one.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite positive there was something way before Williams, like way before.
Well, even before Williams, I think McLaren in the year before had active suspension as well, even before Williams. But I have a feeling it's Mercedes or someone like that, like way back in the old days.
Yeah, I would. I don't know if
it's not Mercedes, but
I would say Audi. I don't know why. I would say well, actually at the time it was Auto Union.
You're going too far back.
Too far.
Okay.
Way too far.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So let's scrap the obvious. I'd say the obvious. Williams.
No, it wasn't Williams.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Was it someone like weird, like Wolf or someone like that? Shadow, maybe.
No, it wasn't. It was actually one of the most successful teams in Formula One ever. However, it's a team that's not there anymore.
Brabham.
No, it's not. You'd have thought that, but no, it wasn't.
Okay. Well, in that case, what successful teams?
I can give you a clue if you like.
Oh, might be. No, shit. I'm going to say Renault, but it's not Renault. Is it Renault?
It's not Renault. No.
Just give us a little. Let me have a little thinking, I guess, there.
Okay.
Before you give us a clue, because it's on the tip of my tongue. I did see this about 6 months ago. Yeah. And it's driving. So Lotus.
You got it. It was indeed Lotus. Well done.
Okay.
So in 1980, Peter Wright wrote a computer program that would keep a steady ride height for the Lotus wing car, which was actually producing so much downforce that and bumps, it was causing real problems, kind of like the porpoising we saw over the past couple of years. Now, Colin Chapman actually green-lighted an active suspension car to go ahead, but died very shortly after that, which put the whole idea on hold. However, in 1983, again, they gave it a try, but it wasn't too successful. However, in 1987, with Ayrton Senna driving, they tried again with just a basic ride height active suspension. It didn't tilt the car over into corners or anything silly like that. It just kept the car on an even keel. 1987, Ayrton Senna won the Monaco Grand Prix, followed by the Detroit Grand Prix, which were the first two wins for active suspension cars. And it wasn't till 1989, I believe.
I'll have a cornetto.
Before Williams came along with their completely different active suspension, which left independent control for each wheel that tipped the car into corners, changed the front to back balance and under acceleration and braking, things like that.
Yeah, the difference being, of course, that was a computer operated.
Well, the Lotus one was as well. However, it just wasn't quite as complicated. I mean, it was like Windows 3.1 compared with Windows 8 or something like that, you know. So yeah, even though it didn't do all the stuff, it was still an active suspension that raised the car up and down as required.
Okay, interesting.
So you get semi-smart arse of the day for getting Lotus.
Thank you.
As where are we in? We're 6 minutes over. Do you want another quick question that Fabio won't be allowed to be involved with? How would you like that?
Oh yeah, that sounds perfect.
Right. Okay. What is the commonality between Fabio and a 1960s and early 70s racing driver in Formula One? What's the commonality?
The fuck of the, can you repeat the question, please? Because I'm not answering, but yeah.
The question is, what's the commonality between Fabio and a late 60s, early 70s Formula One driver? Now, the answer has been staring you in the face to this last 3 weeks.
I know the answer.
Okay, I'm just going to say, is it the jumper?
No.
No, it's not jumper.
No, okay. Listen, I'm making no with the wrong hand.
Left-handed? Cigarettes? I don't know. Left-handed.
Like I said, the answer has actually been
Clay Regazzoni. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, well, if you look at the picture in my little thing there, it's a motorcycle. What's that motorcycle?
That's a Ducati.
It's a certain kind of Ducati.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, I thought the answer was cigarettes. So yeah, that's but yeah. No, it's a completely different one. Okay.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I don't know the model number, if that's what you're asking me.
Well, it's not a model number. It was a very special.
It's the model. It's how it's called. It's actually
it's
the name of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
The model.
Okay. Ducati.
It's in your neck of the woods, Simons.
What?
Yes, it's the name of a driver.
Right. Oh, it's the name of a driver. Okay.
In your neck of the woods.
Oh, fucking hell. I don't know.
He's actually no longer alive. He died after being involved in a road traffic accident.
So the only one I can think of is the world champion, whatever his name is. I can't even remember his name right now. Anyway, go ahead. Well, I can't remember.
The world champion. That narrows things down.
It does. It does.
It does indeed. Okay.
It's the only one that I know that's born near me anyway. And so
his nickname was...
He was F1 champion.
Was The Bike.
Oh.
Something The Bike.
Mike Hawthorne or something?
Well, you got the name. Yeah. Go, start again. Mike.
Yeah.
The Bike.
Mike.
The Bike.
The Bike.
So I'll give you, listen, I'm going to give you a hint. I don't know how much it's going to help you.
I'm not, go ahead.
With that, well, not with that motorcycle, but with a motorcycle which inspired that model, he went back to the TT and won the TT. That was quite a big thing.
He was more famous in his TT drives when he rode for Honda. I think that was his most successful time in the diamond.
Honda.
Yeah.
It still wasn't as good as Agostini, but they had fights.
But Mike, though, really?
Yeah.
Doing?
No. Duan was Australian. He's Australian.
Englishman.
I don't know, dude. I can't think right now. I'm tired.
Starts with an H.
Hey, well, okay, Mike. Hazard.
Well, okay, go ahead, Lucky. Just
Yeah.
say that.
I'm tired. I can't think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that actually that is one of the later versions of the Ducati Mike Hailwood replica.
Hailwood. There we go. Yes.
Mike Hailwood replica. So there's your commonality. Both Ducati men. Mike Hailwood, who was a Formula One driver from 1968, I think, to 1973. And he's going to be the subject of one of our Myth quizzes later in the year.
Let's say that we got paid by the same company. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
At a certain point of our life.
That was the commonality. Oh my God, that is so tenuous. Oh my wonder.
I mean,
both Ducati. They both worked for Ducati.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do that.
I mean, I can also say that we both had world championship. We both won world championship, me and Mike, on Ducati. So, I mean, he was riding, I won world championship.
On is doing a lot of the heavy lifting there, okay?
You would be surprised.
With Ducati, I think. But yes, fair enough. I understand. Yeah. It's an incredible achievement, Fabio. I'm not taking that away from you.
Don't forget that, Enzo Ferrari cherished more the manufacturer title than the driver's title.
Okay.
I believe Hailwood rode for MV Agusta as well, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Incredibly talented guy. MU can win a race at Isle of Man TT is a legend.
I mean, it's still not as good as Agostini, but yeah.
Well,
right.
No. Yeah, don't go there. You don't want to go there.
Who was I thinking of? What's the name of the guy that won the bikes and the cars?
Oh, yes, Surtees, John Surtees.
John Surtees. Thank you very much. Yeah, just to get us back to Formula One.
Mm-hmm. Okay. MV Agusta as well, I believe.
Okay, there you go.
Hailwood, I think he rode in cars. I think in F3 or something like that. But I think he had a short stint on cars too. Yeah.
Well, Hailwood drove in.
Sorry, I'm really sorry, but bikes just it's not what we're about here. And I'm just saying, I'm feeling a little bored. Has anybody got anything interesting to say about Formula One?
Well, Hailwood was a Formula One driver, and as I said, he's going to be the subject of one of our Myth quizzes later in the year. Because
he said interesting, Lucky.
Yeah.
Not only was he a talented guy, he was an extremely brave guy, as you're going to find out.
Yes, no doubt, and driving TT back then, especially.
This wasn't. It wasn't. It was something that happened on the track that we're going to talk about, but it wasn't actually the driving. It was something that happened.
There is a really, and then we quit because we're dragging this too long, But there is an interesting connection between motorcycle riders and F1, especially with Ferrari. Meaning that Enzo Ferrari has always been fascinated by motorcycle riders, and I think I might be wrong. I think that he tried more motorcycle riders on F1 cars. He gave more, test trials to motorcycle riders than anybody else in F1. I think he also tested. Tatsuno Volari started as a motorcycle driver, for example. But yeah, I think he got in touch with Hailwood. Of course, he raced Surtees, but he offered a test drive to Agostini too, and in later years, even Valentino Rossi tested a Ferrari. Of course, Enzo wasn't alive anymore, but there's been always a big relation between motorcycle riders. Enzo Ferrari was totally flabbergasted by motorcycle riders.
I think there was a lot of motorcycles riders that drove in Ferrari sports cars as well.
Oh, yeah.
Also, just to throw this in there, of course, Jim Clark was very keen on his motorcycles as well.
Yes.
Although I didn't actually race them. He certainly, I think he raced them locally when he was a young man and always rode a motorcycle. Anyway, there you go. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. We are going to call it there. Thank you for
one thing. I think.
Oh, obviously we're not. Go ahead, Lucky.
Mike Crack, I think, had something to say, didn't he?
I don't think he did.